Alright everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So we're getting caught up with some Shonen Jump chapters today. Channel update will be out later today as well with some updates on what read-throughs are happening, things like that. But without further ado, we're going to dive into Akane-Banashi here in just a second. But as always, I want to remind you all, if you do like this content, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I really do want to thank you all for your support this past year. And I hope you will all continue to support me as well into the new year. But yeah, without further ado, let us get into it with Akane-Banashi Story 92 Specialty, with story by Yuki Suenaga, art by Takamasa Moe, Rakugo supervision by Keiki Hayashiya, with translation by Stephen Paul and lettering by Sneer Aron. God, and you see like the little, it's not ponytail, but like the little, ponytail bro's like, yo, it's me, the only person of the selection round to receive a recommendation from Futatsume, Zenmai Arakawa. And Akane's like, what kind of greeting is that? He's like, oh, I just thought you might have forgotten. Anyway, I think it'll be tough to get the nod from Master Taizen. He's an apprentice of our master who's known for hating Master Shiguma. The other thing about Master Taizen is, you have like a little flow chart of like Arakawa School master and students. Like, since he became one of the Arch Four, he hasn't given out a single Futatsume recommendation. You see Taizen just like walking out of the meeting room with Chocho and the others. And Karashi's like, was that all? He's already left? It's like, yeah, today was more of a meet and greet. And Chocho's like, so what'd you think of Tainoji? And Akane's like, super freaky, so much pressure. It's like, I know, right? He's just like grinning evilly. And Akane's like, but his eyes. It's like, he had the same vibe as my master and Ani-san's. And Akane's like, if I want to keep advancing, there's only one person I need right now. I want a recommendation from Master Taizen. And Karashi's like, all of that to say the most obvious thing. And I was like, I'm the main event. This is my day. It's like, I know that. And shut up, Karashi. I see them all just like bickering with each other. Chocho just grins again. He's like, all right, enough bickering. Get yourselves ready. We're going to practice your stories now. I was like, you got the go-ahead from Old Man Enso, right? And Karashi's like, yes, it was a special exception. It's like, perfect. All right, Kara boy, you'll be learning one for show. And for the little lady, Karashi's like, Kara boy. It's like, I'll teach you Tanuki dance. Or Tanuki dice, sorry. It's like, Tanuki dice. A man saves a Tanuki which repays its debt by transforming into a die to help him win big at gambling. And it's like, it's an animal type Zenza-Banashi. And Akane's like, Tanuki dice. I haven't learned this one yet. But if I was going to learn one from him, it's like, what you wanted to learn? What, you wanted to learn one for show instead? And Akane's like, sorry. It's like, listen, you know what God, I'm tripping over my tongue today. You know what a specialty is. It's like Ransaika Anigo and her Kurowa Banashi, a story that becomes synonymous with that Rakugoka. To put it in more modern terms, it's kind of like your ultimate attack. From what I hear, you're good at animal stories, huh? It's like, plus, given the spirit you showed while playing Chohan, I think you've got a lot in common with me. If you perform this story my way, I know it'll be a hit. And Akane is like, a type of story I'm good at, and the art of sunshine. It's like, so you think Tanuki dice could be my specialty? It's like, that all depends on you. What do you say? Feel up to trying it out? It's like, yes, sir! Yeah, from there... And you see Akane just like this ominous aura with like flames and like her hair just like floating around her. She's just like staring at these Tanuki. It's got thought things over on my own. And you see her just like casually flipping some dice up in the air as well. It's like, memorize the weight, size, and feel of the die so I can visualize it even with my eyes closed. It's like to heighten my art. She like walks into a pole and she's got her eyes closed. It's like, unlike when I was learning fetching tea, I'm comfortable with this type of story. I can feel it really sinking in. Yeah, so, have you mastered it since the last practice session? Let's see you perform now. And you see Akane performing the story for Chocho. It's like, at this rate, it's like, what did you think? He's like, actually, I'm kind of amazed. And then he's just like, actually, maybe you're not like me at all. And Akane's like, huh? It's like, but you said I was earlier. It's like, I mean, you are in a way, but how should I say this? You might be kind of crazy off of the stage, but when it comes to Rakugo, you're dead serious, huh? And she's like, is that a bad thing? He's like, it ain't bad at all, but it's not enough. You can do better. You're not even using half of your ability yet. And you see a Taizen, yo! And you see a Afro master guy whose name I cannot remember. Let me see if I can look it up quickly. Zensho. You see Zensho going, nothing to say to your master, huh? Not that I mind. I'm used to your silence. And I know that without discussing it with me, you would agree to appear at an event with an Akane-Banashi from the Rakugo Federation. Like, that's all perfectly fine and good. You are one of the Arakawa Arch 4 now, even if you're below me in rank. As your master, I'm proud of you. What I'm not so proud of are my current apprentices. Between the selection event and the new breeze, both of my rising apprentices have put up poor showings. And you see, coming in behind Shigema students. I can't have that. Now it looks like my teaching ability, my very dignity as a Rakugo master, is inferior to the man who cannot even produce a single Shinichi. I happen to hear that Shigema's new girl will be in this debut event, and she probably wants a recommendation from you. Whatever happens, don't ever give a recommendation to one of Shigema's pupils. He needs to be properly punished. He's like, oh, and this is a master's order. You must obey. God. He's absolutely... Alright, so I guess we'll go quick thoughts on the chapter before I get to, like, the stuff at the end. So I love that Akane is just kind of, like, going, like, full method acting with the story, but being like, I must become one with the Tanuki. I must become a Tanuki. To the one hand is kind of, like, amusing, because, like, alright, yeah, like, on one hand kind of makes, like, you know, sense in a way to be like, alright, you know, if you want to tell the story, you know, if you want to talk about, like, if you want to tell the story, if you want to sell, you have to kind of understand, you know, the animal's behaviors, characteristics, things like that. So in that regard, it makes sense to, like, you know, well, of course you have to study what a Tanuki is to kind of understand, like, you know, the mythology behind it, like, the storytelling and everything behind it. So in that regard, it makes sense that she's like, oh, you know, I have to go see the Tanuki in their natural habitat. It's kind of funny. She's like going and just like deeply staring at these Tanuki and be like, I will like read your brains, Tanuki. I'll figure out what's going on. Show me your Tanuki magic. It was just amazing, kind of like how literally she's taking it. It's like, I must be a Tanuki. But apart from that, her like, you know, being like, oh, I need to like know what dice feel like. Again, it makes a lot of sense, which is like, you know, if I'm on stage and if I'm imitating like being throwing dice, if I'm imitating being a gambler, the more realism you can kind of put into your performance, like the better the outcome will be, like the better response you will get from it. So in that regard, it makes sense. But the first thing that came to my mind was like, this just reminds me of the Nen training that Kurapika went through, where he's like, you know, if I want to do conjuration, if I want to summon the chains, I need to like feel the chains. I need to know what the weight is, like what the heft of the chains is. Like I need to be like able to visualize like the chains in like as much realism as I can. So it's just kind of funny with after like the whole like God, what is Pretty Boys Micro doing his whole like, you know, the inner nin of your art, just like the more Hunter x Hunter references kind of just make me laugh. But apart from that, Chocho's thing being like, you know, you're dead serious about Rakugo. I don't know if that's him kind of saying that she's not being like chill, is that the word? Like she's not being like, you know, I guess chill, like sorry, my brain is just kind of having a brain fart right now, but I guess she's not being like chill or relaxed enough about it. Like I don't know exactly what he means by like, you know, you can do better, you're not using half your ability at all yet. So I'm curious to see like what exactly that's going to be in regards to. Apart from that, again, I think one of my biggest critiques of Akane-Banashi is I wish we got to see kind of more of Akane doing the training rather than get like a training montage. I wish we did get to see her like perfecting her craft and her art, because I feel like that seeing like, you know, just having a training montage and kind of just seeing like these leaps in her skill and her experience I feel makes the pacing feel a little bit off. It feels like it's progressing too quickly. Whereas I feel like if we'd seen, like in other sports manga, her practicing her technique, her stuff like that, I feel like that would give it a little bit more weight and a little bit more heft. But also, again, I'm like, I feel like, storytelling is one of those things where it's like, all right, there isn't a lot that's kind of like exciting to watch about someone just like practicing storytelling over and over again, practicing like their different mannerisms and things like that. So in that regard, I guess it makes sense that they don't really want to focus on the training aspect stuff of it. But yeah, apart from that, stuff I really want to talk about at the end is, again, I like how even in Rakugo you can't really kind of escape politics, so to speak, where you have Zencho kind of just basically coming up and intimidating Taizen to be like, I'm your master and you kind of have to be like, subservient to me. You have to kind of listen to my wishes and do what I tell you to do. And we have to teach Shiguma a lesson, stuff like that. So it's kind of amusing seeing like even in Rakugo you have people being like, petty and selfish and like doing all these machinations against each other to kind of like rise their own rank above others. So I'm curious to see like more of the interplay of that between like the various characters. But yeah, we'll see if that actually becomes like an actual roadblock. Because right now I feel like this is absolutely setting up Taizen for, basically betraying quote unquote his master and promoting Akane. But I feel like he's gonna do that because he's gonna see. Because I'm not getting my thoughts straight for a second, sorry. So, on the one hand, because we know that there's something happened between Taizen and with Akane's father, his name, I cannot for the life of me remember, with Shinta. And there was like some kind of bad thing between them and he feels guilty about it. So I wonder if Akane is going to like go and speak to him and like find out the history behind that, find out he has that guilt. And she's going to tell him like, I don't want you to promote me out of pity or this or because you feel like you owe something to my father. I want you to promote me because you see like the value of his skill, the value of his storytelling, that I'm trying to imitate, that I'm trying to like to bring to new heights basically. So I wonder if that's going to kind of reinvigorate Taizen's kind of like passion for Rakugo event again and kind of maybe lift him out of this funk with seeing like, I might have let, Shinta Ani-san down. I might have let my friend down. But, his daughter's the new generation. She's carrying on his will. I can kind of see, like, I can kind of see, his presence, so to speak, in his daughter. So I'm really looking forward to kind of like the interplay relationship between him and Akane, like how that's all going to develop. But yeah, this arc is shaping up to be really potentially interesting. So I'm really curious as to where it's going to go from here. But yeah, really, really solid chapters of Akane. Not much to say. Really looking forward to where the story's going to go in the new year. So with all that said, like I mentioned at the beginning, if you like this content, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Like I said, it really does mean a lot to me to have your support for this channel, especially in the new year, especially in the past year. And I hope I can continue relying on your support going into the new year as well. Like I mentioned, I will have a channel update talking about read-throughs and stuff out today, as well as all the Shonen Jump chapters as well. Hopefully 2024 will bring new and exciting things for this channel. And until then, this is Ash. I'll talk to you all later.